So after all what we heard from Volker and Yannick, it's time to hear from a customer who has been through this and who can give us a good insights about his experience. So a very big welcome again, Pradeep. Would you mind to give us a very quick introduction about Al Ahli Group and yourself?
Hi, Hussein. Thanks for having me here. I take care of the IT portfolio of Al Ahli Holding Group. As you know, Al Ahli is a holding group with diversified line of business, ranging from real estate to construction, engineering, infrastructure, retail, trading, technology, lifestyle, fitness, entertainment, and hospitality. And we are spread across, like globally. We have 4 offices globally situated, and we are headquartered in UAE, Dubai.
Thanks a lot. And since Al Ahli is a multi-industrial holding company, as you have mentioned, and I personally was part of the team when we learned that Al Ahli adopted a clear hybrid cloud strategy. I was part of the Fujitus team who worked close to you and the IT related who was working on this project. Would you brief us with your challenges that you have been through, considering that you have like different line of businesses as you have just mentioned?
Sure. As a holding group, as I said, with different line of business, our strategy when it comes to on-prem or cloud, we have always adapted a hybrid approach. As I've been telling my peers that cloudification is not a technical problem to be solved, rather a financial problem to be solved, where we look into the TCO for a long term. So we follow a hybrid approach by deploying instances on premise, which we believe we will have to run it for 24/7 and move the other instances to cloud, which we needed on an ad hoc basis, which might be needed for a shorter period. But again, since today's discussion is all about SAP, I will limit myself to it. So back in 2014, as a group, we decided that we would go with SAP as our centralized ERP solution for a better visibility, since each entity was working in silos by running different legacy systems. Though we wanted to host our SAP landscape on premise, we were lacking a centralized data center to host our SAP instance. We realized that building a centralized data center would require significant time and resource. So to quickly start our ERP implementation, we chose the HANA Enterprise Cloud, HEC, which was offered by SAP by then, which helped us to deploy the SAP instance quickly. But however, adopting HEC brought us its own challenge. We were executing a greenfield implementation, which, as you can imagine, involves numerous change requests to modify and customize system to meet the unique need of business with a different line of business. With SAP Cloud Model at that time, things were not as flexible as you can see now. Like the SAP Rise is now, I would say, is a much more mature product. As we know, it has been evolved from HEC. But back then, like we started HEC, which offered neither as a platform as a service or software as a service or infrastructure as a service. What they provided was a standardized vanilla system, and for any technical changes in the system during the implementation, that we need to submit a formal change request. And this process involved submitting a request, waiting for a proposal from the SAP sales team. And that the challenges which we had with the sales team, and having the internal approvals from our management, and then having the changes implemented on the HEC by the team. So the entire process was kind of a time intensive, and I would say often delayed our project, especially like during the early stages of the implementation, where there were like I would say like more changes or more frequent changes. So the impact was actually twofold. Firstly, our project timeline were extended, There were instances where the SAP consultants were left idle for weeks, waiting for the changes to be completed. So this has not only delayed the project, but kind of caused a budget overrun, affecting both the timeline and the overall efficiency. So basically, these were the challenges, like that I faced during our cloud journey. But I should say that initially it helped us to kickstart the project quickly by deploying the instance on the cloud. But later, these challenges, like were causing, like a lot of problem on the timeline of the project. And I believe these challenges were very unique to our organization due to the fact that, like we were rolling out SAP for around 14 different entities across globe with different line of business. So maybe, like that is the reason, like it caused, like a lot of delay with heck. But during the same time, I know that I've seen many of the success stories with heck where customers were able to quickly deploy the SAP best practice without much changes to the system and go live in a very shorter period of time. So basically, like these were the challenges I would say with respect to SAP, which I had, like back in 2014.
Pradeep, if can you take us, like you mentioned about the impacts that is these challenges can impact the business environment and of course business capabilities, but would you tell us like about your experience first about what Fujitsu how Fujitsu has helped you in the hybrid cloud story and the impact to the business capabilities as well, because when you when you explained how impacts run projects timelines are impacted, it comes to my mind that of course business units are also impacted as well. So can you first tell us like how was your experience with Fujitsu, what did they offer you, and the impact of the solution to the business capabilities?
Yeah, sure, Zain. Like at one point during the project, we realized that relying entirely on SAP Cloud could potentially delay our timelines because, like we had 4 phases in SAP, and we had to go live in 2 years' time with all the 4 phases. So to mitigate the risk of, like delaying the project, what we did, like we converted and expanded one of our data centers in Dubai to serve as our central data center. But of course, like this meant finding the right hardware partner who could seamlessly migrate our SAP landscape from cloud while understanding the complexity of the project that we were running. That's when, like your team stepped in with your magic box, the Flexframe orchestrator, which is a privately managed cloud solution which can be deployed on premise, and it perfectly fitted our need. Now, I could go into all the details of how meticulously we planned and executed the migration with minimal downtime. But since the time is very limited, I will keep it very brief. What I want to highlight is that we were able to complete the entire migration over a single weekend. By Monday morning, the system was fully operational, and our implementation partner could pick up exactly where they left off, now working on our on-premise server instead of the cloud. So definitely this wouldn't have been possible without Flexframe because of its ability to manage the entire SAP landscape while being hardware independent. It was definitely a game changer for us, and it allowed us to regain control of the project timeline while ensuring a smooth operation.
Wow, that's really interesting. And today, as a customer, and it's not a secret that customers always get different messages from different suppliers, vendors, whoever. And I asked the same earlier to Volker and Yannick. Can you tell us, like, okay, you met Fujitsu during your journey, if I can say this. Very simple question. Why Fujitsu, and why did you decide to proceed with Fujitsu despite the fact being a customer who's meeting different suppliers, different providers, SAP itself, and I'm sure you're getting a lot of different messaging that may put any customer in a confusion. So why Fujitsu at that time?
Why Fujitsu? My simple answer would be because of the professional team who does a consultative approach to understand our requirement to provide the right solution rather than just being a box seller. And mainly the Flexframe orchestrator, which manages my complete SAP landscape by putting all the instances on an autopilot mode using different kinds of agents built in. So this has not only reduced my manpower, but also kind of minimized our downtime during our major upgrades in recent years. I understand that, like the current cloud market is far more mature than, like what we saw 10 years back. And customers today might not encounter the same challenges that we faced 10 years back. That said, I can confidently say we are very happy with the decision we made with Fujitsu because Flexframe not only gave us a zero downtime, but also provided robust protection against some external threats which we had in recent past. Thanks to its advanced security layer, it's been a reliable solution for us, and that's why I think we continue to stick with it.
That's good to know. And by the way, you mentioned very interesting points related to maturity. Since you have been on the Flexframe technology for almost 10 years ago, Fujitsu is also about to, of course, is open and to take you and take all customers to the new features coming with the Flexframe. Will you be interested to be part of this? Update sessions that will come during the 2025. Will you, since you are a 10 years customers on Flexframe, will you be interested in this kind of update sessions that even improves this concept about maturity?
Definitely, Hussein. Like I'm waiting for the updates, and definitely I'll be one of the customers to explore it.
Wow, great. So, Pradeep, my last question for you is about the financials and the impact, financial impact in particular, to you and the business units in Al Ahli Group using the technology you mentioned, Flexframe for SAP. Can you tell us the financial impacts?
Definitely, Hussein. Like I would say it has definitely reduced the cost. It has increased the agility. It has reduced, like most of the complex work which was done by, like the basis team. I would say it increased the operation productivity for administration, and it has lowered the investment, like for the Linux architecture, because we are replicating the same image to all the application tier. Uh, so by doing that way, like we avoided many productive servers to share, like the failover system. And also, like most of the operations are automated, as I told you in my previous, like answer that it is on an autopilot mode where, like it completely takes care of the maintenance and high availability. And it has really helped us, like to minimize the time for all the upgrades that we have done in past 10 years, wherein in a classical method of upgrading the system, it would have taken, like maybe months. Like in the previous presentation, the presenter did say that, like your application along with their, like system, it helped for one of the customers to reduce the migration from weeks or months to hours. So even we felt the same thing, like for all of upgrade, it was, like very seamless, and it definitely reduced, like a lot of time. I mean the downtime. So the upgrades were very easy. Even the operating system upgrades were very easy. The backup and restore is very effective within the Flexframe orchestrator, and it has definitely increased the operational productivity for the administration, as I said before.
That's good to know, and that's great. Thanks a lot, Pradeep. Appreciate your help, and it's good to see you again.
Thank you, Zain, for having me here.
Thank you.